So hey, hello everyone, and I welcome you all to APJ Academy, where we are nurturing the young minds to become doctor and engineers just like you will become in your future. And in today's class, I'll be discussing the basic maths required in physics while solving the numericals. And before starting, I want to introduce myself. My name is Manoj Kumar. I am physics educator on APJ Academy. I did my BTech and MBA from Delhi, and I have been in teaching line since 8 years, and in these 8 years I have taught in many online and offline institutes, and I guided more than 1 lakh students online, out of which thousands have easily cracked the exams like JEE and NEET. And in today's class we are going to study about the basic maths, and in one shot I'll be covering the vectors, right? So vector is very important. If you do not know about the vectors, or if you have very means I will say that if you struggle while solving the numericals related to vectors, it would be very difficult for us to study the future topics, right? So it's very important that we must have very strong hand in our vector. I always say, whenever I start my class, that winners and losers have same goal. So you might be have some goal in your mind, and you might have heard some person who will be telling you that please have some goal, have some goal. And I am the only person who is saying that goal is not sufficient. Everyone has its goal. Even you can imagine that the person who is filling the form for NEET and JEE, all are having their goal to get into the top IITs or top AIMS institutes or the top medical colleges of India or the foreign universities. So when they all have their goals set already, right? So what is the difference between the winner who is getting selected in those exams, and what is the property of the student who didn't? Does they lack in the talent? The answer will be no. Everyone is talented. But the main cause, what makes them winner different, is the process. Process means a consistency. Because once in an interview, Virat Kohli said that excellence is boring. You have to repeat the same thing again and again. Once upon a time you feel that this is boring and you want to have some change. But that is the moment. If you keeps on sustaining those stimulus at that time, then I'll ensure that you will become successful. So you have to be boring student if you really want to get the success. And we have designed a process for you. Free classes regularly we are conducting on this YouTube channel, so you can subscribe this YouTube channel free of cost. We are taking the classes, right? So let me start the very important topic, which is vector. I'm starting this topic from very basic. I explained some basic concepts in the previous lectures as well, but I am taking this as a very new class. So if you are attending this class first time also, you will get the hold of vector, that what is vector. So if I'm talking about the universe, then in the universe we are having the most intelligent person, scientist, and they identified that there are two types of quantity exist on this world. First one is the physical, which can be measured. Another one is the non-physical quantities. In physics, we are not concerned about non-physical quantities because these are the quantities which cannot be measured, right? Means how much your mother loves you, you cannot measure that, right? How much your parents love you cannot measure, or how much you love your parents, you cannot measure, right? So these kinds of things are non-physical quantities. So we won't be discussing these non-physical quantities in our physics. But if we come to the physical part, then physical quantities, the quantities which can be measured, can be classified as physical quantities, and these physical quantities are itself categorized into scalar quantity and vector quantity. So the scalar quantities are the quantities in which we require only the magnitudes. So what does it mean? What do you mean by the magnitudes? Magnitude represents the number. So there are so many things which we can measure by only the number specific to the quantity which we are taking the reference. For example, if I am talking about my weight, so my weight is around 80 to 75 kg, right? So let's take a fixed number. My weight is 80 kg. So if I am telling you that my weight is 80 kg, then that means ki we have a standard quantity which is kg, right? And on as compared to that standard quantity kg, my weight is 80 times more than that, right? So you are getting that number. So if I require only that number, right, so those quantities are known as scalar quantities. But if I require some other quantities, like in which direction, so vector are the quantities in which I do not only require the magnitude, but I also require the directions. So there are many quantities which requires the magnitude as well as the direction. So we will study that in this chapter only and in physics also. But here we will learn more about that what is the maths behind these things, right? So there are so many quantities in which we also require directions, right? So vector quantities, I think that it is clear. You want examples, right? So there are so many examples, like displacement is the example of vector, right? Force is the example of vector. Then angular momentum, these all are examples of vector, right? Shall we move forward? Now let's move forward. So we get to know about key vectors are the quantities which is having the magnitude as well as the direction, right? These are having magnitude as well as the direction. So we are done with this. Now, first of all, we must know that how to represent the vector. So first thing I'm telling you that how to represent this vector. So vector representation can be done by three methods, right? But in our course, we are happy to go with only two. First one is the geometric representation. In geometrical representation, basically the vector is represented by a straight line with an arrow. So this arrow is having tail, so this is tail and this is head, and the length of the length of the vector will be equals to the magnitude. Okay, so the length of this arrow will represent the magnitude, and the head it is representing the direction, right? So I hope that this is clear to you, that if I am drawing one vector here, A vector, if I am drawing another vector here, B vector, then these vectors will be having different magnitude. Why different magnitude? Because the length of A and B are different, right? So these vectors will be having different magnitudes. Also, these vectors will be having different directions. Why? Because this arrow is pointing towards this direction and this arrow is pointing towards this direction. So both these vectors A and B are having different magnitudes and different directions, right? What if I have to draw another vector, C vector? So this C vector is having the same direction as of B vector, but the magnitude is different, right? I hope that you are getting that. So this is how we will represent vectors in geometrical form. And also there is another form of representation of vector, that is rectangular representation. And other than rectangular representation, we also have polar representation. But that thing will not be required in our course, right? In physics, we are mainly dealing with this rectangular notation and the geometrical notation only. So we do not require any other thing. So if I'm talking about the rectangular component, then you can imagine that if there is vector quantity a vector, I have to resolve this quantity in two forms, right? So in the x-axis and the y-axis. And if this is having an angle of theta, if this a vector is having an angle of theta making with the x-axis, then I can resolve this vector, that I'll tell you later, right? So these are basically two forms in which we are representing the vectors. So till now you are done with two things, like the vector is the quantity which is having the magnitude as well as the direction, right? So what, when we are representing the vector in a geometrical form, then the magnitude will be given by the length of the arrow, and the direction will be represented by the direction of the heading, direction of the head where it is pointing, right? Pro Tej Gaming, good evening. So I hope that this is done. Now when this is done, we can move towards that how to find the angles between vectors. This is very conceptual question, and this is very conceptual, I can say, the topic, because if you know that how to find the angles between the vectors, you can easily add the vectors, right? Add, subtract the vectors. Because if you do not know that how you can find the angle, then it would become very difficult for us to solve the numericals, right? So angles between vectors can be easily find out. Like imagine if I am having this vector a vector, if I am having this as b vector. Now, as I told you, that vector is having two things with that. First one is the magnitude, other one is the direction. So if I am telling that this vector is having the both thing, direction as well as the magnitude, I can move this vector parallelly anywhere. I can move this vector parallelly anywhere. Means I can move this vector here and here. It won't change its direction, it won't change its magnitude. Will it change? Imagine there is a space, and you are pointing toward that. Like I can, there is space and you are pointing toward east. This is east. And if I'm moving this, if I'm moving this, if I'm moving this parallelly, will it change? Will it change its direction? No, it won't change its direction. So I can move vector parallelly. It won't change its direction. And magnitude I am not changing. So that means the vector will remain same if I am moving it parallelly, right? Similarly, if I am moving vector in the same direction, like I can move this vector in this direction as well, in the direction of the vector as well as in the opposite direction of the vector, but I cannot move in this, right? So I hope that you are getting that. So that means if I am having two vectors, first a vector and the b vector, then if I have to calculate the angle between these vectors, I need to find out the angle between these two vectors. What needs to be done? What needs to be done is that I have to make, I have to ensure that both these tails of the vector should meet and they will be pointing outward, right? So keep these things in your mind. The tails of the vectors should meet, right? And they will be pointing outward. So these are the conditions which I must be ensuring before finding out the angles. So to find out the angle between A and B, I need to ensure that I have to move either this vector here, right? So if I'll move this vector here, then I can easily find out that this is the angle, right? So I hope that you get to know that how to find out the direction and the angles. So there are some questions for you to apply those. So here are two questions for you, so that I'll get to know that you are getting what I'm saying. So here are two questions for you. First question is here, and you need to find out the angle between A and B vectors, right? So here we are having a B vector which is pointing towards this direction, and the magnitude is this. Here we are having the A vector whose direction is in this direction, and the magnitude is this, and the angle between these is 150 degree, and you have to calculate the angle between A and B. So how will you find out? First and foremost thing what you can do is ensuring that both the tails of the vector should be meeting each other. Both the tails of the vector should be meeting each other. So I can redraw this vector as, I can either shift this vector here, or I can move this vector here and then here. So I can say that this will be the A vector, right? This will be the A vector, and when I'm moving the B vector here parallelly, first of all I can move this vector here parallelly and then straight, right? So I can do that thing. So if I am doing this thing, then this will be the here, right? So if this is 150, then this will be 30 degree, and this angle will be 150 degree, because we know that these will be making a linear pair, right? So this is the angle which we have to find out. So the angle between A and B is 150 degree. I hope that you are getting that. Is it clear, my dear? Is it clear, my dear? Like we must know that how to shift the vectors. We can shift the vectors parallelly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change its direction. It doesn't change its magnitude, right? And we can change. We can move the vectors in the same direction as well. So it also do not change the magnitude and the direction. Now the question is this: if you are getting that what I am saying, then you can easily find out the angle here. Here also the A vector and B vector, and you have to find out the angle between these vectors. So how will you get to know that what is the angle? First of all, you have to match the tail with the tail. You have to match the tail with the tail. So if you are matching the tail with the tail, what will happen? That will be A vector, right? And here I can move this vector in the forward direction, right? You can move the vector in the forward and backward direction. It won't change its direction, it won't change its magnitude. You can move this vector in the forward and the backward direction, right? So this is 45 degree, 145 degree. This will be 35 degree, right? So the angle between A and B vector is 35 degree. I hope that you are getting. So here the angle is 35 degree, here the angle is 150 degree only. So while solving the questions, we will be doing this thing. I hope Everything is clear to you, right? So let's move forward. This was very simple. Now, I'm going to teach you that how to add the vectors. So for addition of vector, we are having this question, but before solving this question, I want that I should be teaching you that how to solve the how to add the vectors, right? So concept of addition of vectors. So see first see here, you must know that how to add the vectors. First of all, imagine that you are having a vector A vector and you are having a B vector here, right? The first and foremost thing is you need to join these vectors. And how you will going to join these vector? You can join these vector with the tail, right? You can join these vector with the tail. Imagine that these vectors are monkeys. Imagine that these vectors are monkeys who are jumping from one tree to another tree, and uh, you need to control these monkeys. So how you can control these monkeys? You can tie their tails, right? So you can easily tie their tails. So we need to ensure that when we are calculating the angles between two vectors, we need to tie their tails. So when I am tying their tails, then what will happen? This will be A vector. This will be B vector, right? So this is my A vector, this is my B vector, right? So there are so many things through which we can easily solve these kinds of questions. So if I am going to add these vectors, A vector and B vector, and the angle between these vectors is theta, angle between these vectors is theta, then the resultant vector which is coming will be A vector and B vector, right? A vector and B vector, and that can be solved using the formula under root a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta, right? This can be solved using a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. There is another way to represent this. There is another way to represent this. How you are going to represent? See, you can move this vector here and there. So if you are keeping this a vector as here only and b vector moving this vector parallelly, then what will happen? This will become C vector, right? So C vector will be equals to A vector plus B vector, and this is the vector which I am telling you that this is nothing but the resultant vector which I was talking about, right? And the angle between that is this theta. So please note it down and solve this question. Good evening, Sandhya. Please note it down and solve this question. In this question, what is given here is that this is 4 unit and this B vector is also given to us. This is 3 unit. So two vectors are given to us, right? And the angles between them is also given, that is 60 degree, and we have to find out the A plus B. So there are so many scenarios in which we are going to solve these types of questions, like assuming that we are having two velocities, right? And even if we are having two forces acting on one body only, then also we have to do that. Then there will be pulley types of questions we have to solve, we have to use that. So if I am going to find out A plus B vector, then it will be A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. And I hope that you all must know the value of cos 60 degree. I hope that you all must know that what is the value of cos 60 degree. It is 1 by 2. Right? So A plus B I can easily find out. A square means 4 square, B square means 3 square, and 2AB means 2 4 into 3, and cos theta is 1 by 2. So this will cut, this will cut. It will come out to be 16 plus 9 plus 4 is 12, and it will be 25 37. So root 37 unit will be the resultant, right? And somebody will ask that, sir, how to find out the negative? Negative is nothing but a special case of addition only. If I have to find out A minus B, then I can easily find out how. I can consider this vector in the opposite direction, then it will become B minus B, right? I can consider this vector only in the negative direction, then it will become minus B, and then I have to add these vectors only. I have to add this vector and this vector only. So the only thing that will change in A minus B, the only thing that will change in A minus B will be my minus sign, okay? A and B, because in squaring, even if that is negative, it won't impact, right? So I can easily write down that the formula for A minus B will be A square plus B square minus of 2AB cos theta, right? So this is my formula, and using this formula you can easily find out. Please find out. Vidushi, Sandhya, please find out A minus B. There are so many questions which we are going to solve in 1 hour. And I also tell you that how this formula is coming. You do not need to take any tension. I'll be telling you that how this formula is coming. First of all, you should know that how to use this formula, right? So A minus B. What is the answer of A minus B? Sandhya, Vidyushi, Pro, Tejas. Okay, yes, yes. Many of you got the correct answer. So I can write it down as 4 square plus 3 square minus of 2 into 4 into 3, and cos 120 degree, cos 60 degree is into 2. So I have to subtract this 16 plus 9 minus of 12, right? So this will become 16 and 12, 4, and 9 plus 4, 13. So root 13 unit is the answer. That's easy. Juveri Khan, right? And guys, I want you to please join our Telegram channel so that you won't miss my updates. So ALT NEET and ALT JE are the Telegram channel on which you will be getting the PDF materials, free classes, announcement, and discounts and the prizes. So won't miss these things. These are very important for you. Now, complete concept of addition. How I was using that formula, right? How I was using that formula. We have to know that thing, right? So imagine that you are having a vector here and you are having a B vector here. As I told you, and this is the angle between A and B. I told you that you need, whenever you have to find out the angle between two vectors, you have to keep these tails. You have to keep these tails at the same point, right? And these vectors must be pointing outward. Only then you can find out the angle. This is the only criteria which you need to follow whenever you have to find out the angle. and we had done the two numericals on that as well. So, and also one more thing, I can shift these vectors parallelly, because if these vectors are in space, it won't change its direction, right? If this is, I am looking it, or I can imagine here, if I am looking in each direction, if I'll move here, then also I am in the each direction only, if I am not moving very far, and I am talking about the space here. So I can say that I can easily move these vector here and there. I'll change this color so that you will understand that what we are moving. So I can easily move this vector here as well. So if I'll move this vector here, nothing changes. Okay, but the thing that change is its angle. So this will remain theta, right? This will remain theta, and this distance will remain a, because these are parallel, right? So we are using the parallel theorem. And now when you are done with this, are you done with this? We are moving this vector b vector here. This is the a vector, we are moving this vector here. Parallelly we are moving, we can do that, because that won't change its direction, and the magnitude we are not changing it, right? So I can easily move this vector here, and if I have moved this vector here, then what will happen? I can draw the perpendicular, right? I can draw the perpendicular here, and as you know that this vector length can be represented by some, like I am saying that if a is the vector, then magnitude of a vector will be represented by a. Magnitude of a vector. Magnitude means the length of that vector. Magnitude of vector is a. If I am telling you that b is the vector, then the magnitude of b, this is how we represent the magnitude in the bars, right? So the magnitude of b vector will be b. Magnitude of b vector will be b. So we are done with the magnitude of a, magnitude of b. I can easily say that this is b and this is the hypotenuse, right? So if I am having a triangle, right triangle, this is 90 degree, this is hypotenuse, this will be the perpendicular, and this is theta, and this is base. As I already told you that here what you have to find out, if you apply sin theta, then sin theta will be perpendicular upon hypotenuse, and perpendicular will be hypotenuse sin theta, right? And if you apply cos theta here, then cos theta will be base upon hypotenuse, and base will be h cos theta, right? So these are two things. So when I am having b here and this is the theta, I can easily write down that this side will be b cos theta, because this is the base, right? And we know that base will be hypotenuse times the cos theta, right? I hope that you are getting that. So this will be b cos theta. Why? Because base is hypotenuse times cos theta, right? So base is hypotenuse times cos theta. Now imagine you are having a force of 5 Newton. You are having a force of 5 Newton, and you have to calculate, there is some angle theta. I am saying that this is 30 degree, and you have to find out that what will be the force in the x direction, or what is the length of this. Then you can easily find out. How? You will be saying that this will be f and this will be cos 30 degree, right? So you will be saying that this is 5 root 3 by 2 fx. I hope that you are getting that, right? So here as well I can write b cos theta, and here I can write b sin theta, right? I can write b sin theta, and the resultant of these things, a vector and b vector, the resultant will be the line joining this starting point to that initial point. This is the starting point and that is the initial point, right? So this is the resultant vector. And if you see this triangle R, if you see this big triangle, if you see, yes, if you see this big triangle, this, you can easily apply Pythagoras here. You can easily apply Pythagoras here, can't you? Hey, we know that how to apply Pythagoras. Pythagoras is the simplest theorem which we had studied in your class 10th, right? So Pythagoras is p square plus b square. So if I'll apply the Pythagoras theorem here, what will happen? So I know that I have to shrink these things so that more data can come. So here we have hypotenuse square is equal to p square plus b square, and the hypotenuse is r square, and here perpendicular is b square, b sine theta square. And what about base? What about base, sir? So base, here base is a, right? A, the magnitude of a is a plus b cos theta square, right? So you can write down b square sine square theta plus a square plus, I am using a plus b whole square formula. So it will be a square plus b cos square theta plus 2ab cos theta, right? So I can easily write down, and this will be b square sine square theta, and here also we are using one thing, sine square theta cos square theta is equals to 1. So if I'll use this, taking b as common, then the answer will be a square plus b square plus 2ab cos theta. And here if I have to find out r, then I need to take the root. So this is the answer which I was looking for, and this was the equation which I told you that you were using, right? And here I need to add some more points. If these things are clear, if these things are clear to you, we can move. Javeria, is this clear, my dear? If these things are clear to you, we can move forward, right? If this angle is alpha, we can easily find out that what is tan alpha here. If this angle, if this is alpha, we can easily find out that what is tan alpha. So tan alpha is b sine theta. So tan alpha is b sine theta divided by a plus b cos theta, right? So these are the two things which is very important when you are solving the vectors, right? So let's solve some questions related to that before moving forward. Shall we? Okay. This is done, and okay, one more information for you, that we have bringing a crash course for you, which is very important for the students who are preparing for JEE and NEET and want to give their exam this time only. So there are 90 plus classes in a structured format we had designed. Duration of the course will be until your exam. Okay, if you are giving your exam now, later means the first attempt, second attempt, so the access will be provided to you. Syllabus will be covered by JEE experts like me, and the other faculties, very much experienced faculties are there. So best lectures are provided by the best faculty, and we are using the flipped classroom method. What is this flipped classroom method? Basically, it's the method which is used by the European industries, European universities, and I'll be telling you about that what is flipped classroom method. And also exclusively we have a doubt clearing sessions 1-to-1 which we are conducting. This is how our closed courses look. Closed courses means the paid courses look like. First of all, we will be providing you a theory lectures. It will be 10 to 15 minute lectures guiding you that what we are going to teach and what are the basic things, giving the examples so that it will rise it will raise your interest on that topic. After that, we will be providing you the study material. You can go through that study material before coming to the class. The real class will happen, right? So before the real class happens, there are two steps which are already happened. First one is the theory, the video theory you will be getting. Second one is the study material. So you will be having two things before coming to the actual class. So when you come to the actual class, we'll be explaining you the concept very crisply, and then we are moving towards the problem solving part. Because when you are attempting the JEE exam and the NEET exam, the most important thing is that whether you are prepared to tackle those questions or not. So we will be preparing you to tackle those questions, those challenging questions, how to tackle, how to approach those questions. Also, we will be providing you homework so that you won't miss the concepts, and you won't miss that how to use those concepts. And after that, we will be checking the homework for you, because we believe that if student is missing their homework, then it would be very difficult for him to crack the entrance exam. And one more information for you, that we are launching a full year course for you. Free study material will be provided to you. Free study material includes the question bank as well as the complete module packages which we are providing. Next thing is the personal doubt clearing sessions. One-to-one doubt clearing sessions will be there, and we believe that every child is unique. So if every child is unique, every child's problem is unique, and you must require one-to-one doubt clearing sessions. Also, there are full length tests available. So when you are solving the numerical questions, you might be thinking that you know everything, but when you are attempting the test, then only you can check the depth of the knowledge which you are getting. So everything, each and everything will be online. So you do not need to go anywhere, and you just need one device on which you can access the internet. So if you have any device on which you can access the internet, you can access our courses. It is that simple. Next, the full year course includes the material, the complete module plus the question bank, 25 major test series as per the NTA, query solving one-to-one, lesson plans, 20 lectures will be there, more than 20 lectures. There will be continuous assignments, and all these things will be available to you. And other than that, I'll be emphasizing more on that what is coaching. That whether I can crack the exam without coaching, yes, you can. But coaching will assist you. How? Imagine, why imagine? You had read or means watched somewhere regarding the Mahabharata. Have you heard about Mahabharata? In Mahabharata, you must have heard about the Arjun, the greatest archer of the time, of that time. And he was also requiring the guru. He was also requiring the mentor at the time of fighting, right? So why don't you require? You must be requiring a coach, right? So if you are joining any coaching institute, the coaching institute will provide you a calendar schedule that will maintain the consistency in you. Also, will be providing you confidence that you can solve the questions, challenging questions. So there will be continuous challenge to you so that you can improve your capability. So this is why coaching is very important, and we believe that complete democracy, complete control will be in your hand. So these are the features which we are providing in our courses, and you can buy them separately as well. Assuming that if you only want our study material, you can purchase that. If you only want our test series, you want to only test your preparation, you can buy our test series only. If you want only our question bank and you want to see that how our question bank looks, the samples are present on our Telegram channel. But if you really want to get the complete package, you can give the part payment as well, right? Now, personal one-to-one doubt clearing sessions are available as per your requirements. So join now and do not wait, because if you are waiting, then it means that you are stretching your chances of getting selected. Now, let's come to this part. Right, Juberia Khan? So let's move. And now we are done with something, right? So we started our journey of vectors by knowing that how to represent this vector. This was the first thing which I told you. The second thing was that how to shift those vectors. or find angle. The third thing which I told you is the addition plus subtraction. Right? Now I am going to tell you the multiplication. There are two types of multiplication. First one is the dot product. Second one is the cross product. Dot product is also known as scalar product. Cross product is known as vector product. So now we are moving towards the multiplication of vectors. So are you ready? Are you all ready? Right? So before moving to the multiplication, actual multiplication of the vectors, we must know about how to represent the vectors. So assuming that we are having three axes, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, and you must be knowing that how you will be going to represent the point here. So you will be saying that it will be x, y and z, right? But if I am assuming this as O and I want to get the equation of this OP vector, if I want that, what will be the OP vector, right? What is OP vector here? OP vector is position vector. We'll be saying that OP vector is position vector. So the equation of position vector will be x I cap, because whenever we are having a vector in the direction of x, we'll be representing that direction of x as I cap, the direction of j as y as j cap, the direction of z as k cap. So we will be representing these directions as I cap, j cap and k cap. Okay. So if I am having a vector OP, then OP vector will be xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap. So this is position vector. Write it down that this is position vector, right? If I am having another vector here, I'll be saying that this is q and this will be a, b, c, then OQ will also be a position vector, right? But if I have to find out PQ vector, if I have to find out the PQ vector, then this vector will be known as displacement vector. And for PQ vector, for finding the PQ vector, we will be taking P as initial and Q as final. So final coordinates will be taken first. So that will be A minus of x I cap plus B minus of y j cap plus C minus of z k cap. Okay, so this will be my displacement vector. Now I am talking about the vectors, then I know that vector will consist of the magnitude as well as the direction, right? So if I have to find out the magnitude of these vectors, then how I can find out the magnitude of OP vector will be represented by OP in the bracket bars, right? It will be x square plus y square plus z square. So this will be the magnitude. And if I have to calculate the magnitude of PQ, then I can say that that will be A minus of x square plus B minus of y square plus C minus of z square. Okay, so these are magnitudes. And as you know that vector will consist of magnitude as well as direction. If I'll divide this vector with the direction, if I divide this vector with the magnitude, then I'll get the direction, right? So for direction, we have unit vector. For directions, we have unit vector, and unit vector for OP will be OP vector divided by mode of OP. OP vector divided by mode of OP. So what is OP vector here? OP vector is xi So I can write x I cap plus y j cap plus z k cap divided by under root x square plus y square plus z square. So this is how we'll be finding the direction, right? So I hope that these things are clear. Javeria, Protesh, Sandhya, Vidushi, is it clear to you that how to get these things? First of all, I tell you that how to find the position vector. So for position vector, the reference will be origin only. There are conditions. The position vector, the reference will be origin only. For displacement vector, you can take any points as your reference. So if I am going towards from P to Q, I'll be taking what? Q. I'll be subtracting the Q coordinates from P coordinates. So this is displacement vector. The third one is the magnitude, how to get the magnitude, and the fourth one is how to get the directions. Now we are ready to learn about the cross product and dot product. Sir, instead of ABC we can write yeah, these are as per your choice, that if I am writing the points as x1 y1 z1 and I am writing the q point as x2 y2 and z2, then I can easily use that. But the intelligent person are those persons who can change these variables as per their requirements, and that is what we were doing in our questions, right? So in questions we will be having so many problems where the variables will be changing, right? So let's have cross product. So cross product is also known as vector product. Cross product is also known as vector product. If I am having two vectors A cross B, it won't be equals to B cross B. A. It won't be equals to B cross A, right? So this is the first condition which I'll be telling you, because most of the time students think that these things are same, but no, these things are different, because in vector quantity we are having the direction, which is very important thing, right? So this is not important, means this won't be equals. So A vector and B vector will be equals to mod of A, means the magnitude of A, magnitude of B, and the sine theta of the angle between A and B. Sine theta of the angle between A and B. And the direction can be find out using right hand thumb rule. Right hand thumb rule. How, sir? How? Assuming that we are having a table. Assuming that we are having a table. This is x-axis. You are placing x-axis here. You are placing y-axis here, right? And I am having two vectors here only. A vector and here B vector. And I am doing the cross product. Then if I am doing the cross product, then imagine the answer of A cross B can be easily identified using using this formula, right? The magnitude can be we can get magnitude using this formula. What about the direction? For the direction, what you have to do is, if I am doing A cross B, then you have to place your hand using your right hand, right? You have to use your right hand. Nahat Jagannath. So you have to use right hand, and right hand you have to use, keep this right hand in the direction of A vector, the first one, right? You have to keep this in the first direction and move this right hand in the second vector direction. So when you are doing this, you'll be getting the thumb in the upward direction, right? So where your thumb will be pointing, that will be the direction of A cross B. Are you getting my point? That will be the direction of A cross B. This is very important because we were doing these things multiple times, right? So let me take one example so that these things will become more clear to you. Example, A vector is given as 3 I cap, B vector is given as 4 j cap, right? First one is going in x direction 3i, second one is going in j direction 4j, and you have to find out A cross B. So if you have to find out A cross B, then you know that the angle between A and B is 90 degree, right? So A cross B will be 4th j 12, sine 90 degree is 1, and the direction I j k. So the direction will be k cap. I hope that you are getting this. So the answer of these vectors, when we are doing the multiplication of cross product, when we are doing, the answer will be vector only. It won't be a scalar quantity, right? So this is the second point, and the third point is the matrix method which we will be using. So in matrix method we are having A cap. Imagine that A cap is A I cap plus B j cap plus C k cap, and B vector is X I cap plus Y j cap plus Z k cap. And if we have to multiply A cross B, then I can write this as I j k, and I can write this as A B C X Y Z, and then you have to solve this. So this is how we are going to solve the cross product. So there are these three conditions are very important. Please make a note of that. Juveria, okay? Please make a note of that. We'll be solving some questions related to the matrix method so that you will get some hold. Shall I give you? Please note these things. Are you done? Take the screenshot. That's why I moved away. Take the screenshot, and now we will be using cross. I'm giving you the example of cross product. Right? Imagine 2i plus 3j. So this is a vector, and B vector is I minus j plus k. So these are two vectors, and you have to do the cross product, right? So you have to find out the cross product. So when you are finding the cross product, then the way you will be writing this matrix is very important. So it will be ijk. This will be fixed that you have to start with the ijk. The first row will be of a vector. The first row will be of a vector only. You can't change this with b, because if you change this, then your answer will change. So the first row will be of a vectors, components only. So that is 2, 3 and 1. And second row will be of b vector only. So it is 1, minus 1 and 1. Right? And there are rules to open these. First, we will be opening through this vector. This row and this column won't be considered. The left one will only be considered. So if I am opening this with I cap, I can write this as 3, 1, minus 1, 1, right? Then the second one will be minus of j. Keep remember that I am putting this as minus of j because these rows are numbered as 1, 1. This row is numbered as 1, 2. So 1, 2 is odd number. That's why I am writing this as minus, right? So minus 1 to the power of I plus j hota hai. Means, or you can remember this as a fact only. So this will be a minus. Then I do not take this and this thing. So it is left with this, right? Next there is k, and for k I'll not be taking that row and that column. So it will be left with 2, 3, 1, minus 1, right? So these are the things. And now I have to find out. So this is I cap, and now I have to open this. So how to do how to solve these kinds of questions? First of all, you need to know if this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and there is method to open this. You have to multiply this A with D and this B with C. So this is how we are going to open this, right? So this 3 into 1. So this is 3. Minus 1 and minus 1 will become plus 1. Minus of j is 2. Minus of 1. This plus k. This minus of 2. Minus of 3. Minus of 2. Minus of 3. Right? So that will be 4i minus minus of j and minus of 5k. So this is what we are getting. 4i minus of j minus of 5k. This is what you are getting. Done, Zuveria? Protej. Are you getting that how to find out this? So this is the result of A cross B vector. Please note it down. Then, now we are done with this. Now coming to the dot product. Dot product is so easy. So easy, so easy. Means here we'll be writing this as A dot B will be equals to B dot A, and that will be A B cos theta, right? And second thing, this is how we are going to find out. I'll be giving you some example. If this is A P unit, this is B vector 4 unit, and there is angle of 60 degree here, then the value of A dot B will be equals to 3 into 4 into cos 60 degree. So 4 to the 12, 60 degree is 1 by 2. So that will be 6 unit, right? Okay. And if these things are given in the vector form, if all these things are given in the vector form, then how we are going to solve? So assuming that if A vector is xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap, and this B vector is ai cap plus bj cap plus ck cap, then A dot B will be equals to xa ax. You can easily multiply these numbers only. Xa plus by plus zc. Okay, this is the most simplest multiplication. Means assuming that we are having A vector S 3i plus 4j plus 5k, and B vector S 2i plus 3j plus 4k, and you have to find out A dot B. You have to find out A dot B. Then what will be the answer? You just need to multiply these numbers. 3 2 6, 4 3 12, 5 4 is 20. So that will become 26, 26 and 12, 38. So 38 will be the answer. So there is no vector quantity here. We are getting this as simple. So 38 unit is the answer. IJK. J vector is in the direction of y direction. Basically what we are doing here is I am resolving this vector in the direction of A vector only. So I am forgetting about the direction of B vector. That if I am taking this B vector in the direction of this vector, this length will be the magnitude and this will be the direction. But what I am considering this as, I am not taking this B as vector, I am taking the component of this vector in the direction of A vector. So that can be done by using, if I am resolving this vector in this direction, then it will be B cos theta, right? And I am multiplying that only. So that's why this value will be a scalar quantity only, right? So I hope that you all are done, right? So it is all clear to you, my dear friend. So now we are done with basic maths. Basic math completed, and now the only thing which is required is how we will be going to use this basic maths in our real physics, right? So I have completed the trigonometry, I have completed the integration and differentiation, which is more important, right? And in today's class I had covered the vectors. So now the basic maths is almost covered, and whatever I am going to teach you in the future lectures, I'll be considering that that you should know these things which I had taught you. But if we require something to add on, I'll add that on when I'll be taking the lecture. So do not miss my lecture. I'll be taking classes here regularly at 7 p.m. So do not miss to subscribe this YouTube channel. And if you like this video, it will really motivate us to provide you some contents like this, right? So I am ending this session here only. Bye bye, and we'll meet again in the future. Bye bye.